What if I told you that there are entire cities, like massive sophisticated settlement type of cities, that according to established history, should never have existed at all? Not just minor archaeological curiosities, but metropolises that housed thousands and featured engineering that defies explanation. Welcome to Arnie's Brain Train. Today I'm going to be exploring 5 lost cities that have historians completely baffled. I'm Alex Arnold, and I'm about to challenge everything you thought you knew about ancient human capabilities. All of my sources are listed in the description below for those that want to dig deeper, so buckle up, here we go, let's dive on in. For centuries, mainstream archaeology has dismissed many of these ancient cities as mere mythology or exaggeration. But what happens when we actually find these supposedly mythical places? And what does it mean when they contain technologies and achievements that, according to our understanding of history, should have been impossible for their time? Let's find out. Our journey begins in ancient Egypt. Imagine an entire city, complete with massive temples, statues, and treasures, completely vanishing beneath the waves. That's precisely what happened to Heracleion, an ancient Egyptian port city that remained hidden for over 1,200 years. For many hundreds of years, historians dismissed Heracleion as pure myth, mentioned only in a few ancient texts, including writings by Herodotus, the famous Greek historian. The problem? According to conventional understanding of ancient Egyptian capabilities and the geography of the Nile Delta, such a massive port city shouldn't have been possible in that location. The engineering challenges of building a major port in such an unstable environment were considered beyond ancient Egyptian capabilities. In 2000, underwater archaeologist Frank Goddio and his team made an astonishing discovery off Egypt's coast. Just 6.5 kilometers from Alexandria's shoreline and 30 feet underwater sat the remarkably preserved ruins of Heracleion, also known by its Egyptian name, Thonis. What really puzzles historians is its sheer scale and sophistication. They found over 700 ancient anchors arranged in distinct patterns, 64 ancient shipwrecks in remarkably preserved condition, gold coins and jewelry in abundance suggesting tremendous wealth, giant 16-foot statues of pharaohs, gods, and goddesses, a massive temple to the god Amun-Gareb, sarcophagi containing mummified animals, and most impressively, evidence of advanced engineering that wasn't thought possible for its time. One of the most baffling aspects is how well preserved wooden objects are, despite being underwater for millennia. This suggests an incredibly rapid submersion. The city didn't slowly sink, giving residents time to flee with valuables. Instead, it appears to have been swallowed by the sea in a sudden catastrophic event. According to Dr. Goddio, the discovery has forced us to rewrite our understanding of ancient Egyptian naval capabilities and architectural achievements. The city contained technologies and building techniques that contradict the established timeline of Egyptian engineering development. Even more fascinating is the evidence suggesting Heracleion was a cosmopolitan trade hub where Greek, Egyptian, and other Mediterranean cultures intermingled freely, challenging our understanding of ancient cultural boundaries. The diversity of artifacts suggests a level of international commerce far more advanced than previously believed possible for the 8th century BCE. Now on to our second site. If you were to ask any archaeologist what the oldest known temple in the world is, until the 1990s, they would have pointed to structures in Mesopotamia dating back about 5,000 years. Then came a discovery that shattered our entire understanding of human prehistory. That discovery was Göbekli Tepe, a name that translates to Potbelly Hill in Turkish. This unassuming site in southeastern Turkey has literally rewritten human history. Carbon dating places these massive, intricately carved stone pillars at around 11,600 years old. That's more than 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Here's why historians are so baffled. According to their established timeline, Göbekli Tepe was built by hunter-gatherers. According to everything we thought we knew about human development, hunter-gatherers didn't build monumental architecture. The established theory was that humans needed to develop agriculture, create food surpluses, establish hierarchical societies, and then they could build temples. Göbekli Tepe completely flips this entire narrative upside down. It suggests that humans created complex religious structures before they even settled down to farm. Think about what that means. Our entire understanding of what drove human civilization may be completely wrong. This site at Göbekli Tepe features massive T-shaped pillars weighing up to 20 tons, some as tall as 18 feet, intricate carvings of animals including lions, bulls, boars, foxes, gazelles, and birds, strange abstract symbols that might represent the world's oldest written communication, complex astronomical alignments that suggest advanced knowledge of the stars, and evidence of advanced planning and social organization that shouldn't have been possible for nomadic peoples. What's even more incredible is that ground-penetrating radar has revealed at least 20 more circular enclosures still buried at the site. What we've excavated so far, which has already revolutionized our understanding of prehistory, is less than 5% of what's actually there. As the late archaeologist Professor Klaus Schmidt, who led excavations at the site until his death in 2014, put it, "First came the temple, then the city." This revolutionary idea suggests that humans may have settled down not to farm, but to build sacred spaces. In other words, religion, not agriculture, may have been the driving force behind human civilization. Here's one last mind-blowing fact about Göbekli Tepe. After using this site for potentially over 1,000 years, the builders deliberately buried it under thousands of tons of dirt. Why would they invest such enormous effort to hide their creation? This mystery remains unsolved. I'd like to pause here for a moment and ask, why should you care about these ancient cities in the first place? Well, they completely transform our understanding of human history. Just think, we're discovering that our ancestors were far more sophisticated, organized, and capable than we ever gave them credit for. These findings don't just change textbooks, they change how we see ourselves and our potential as humans. So, what other impossible achievements might be waiting to be discovered? And what does it say about our own capabilities today? Now, if you're enjoying this brain-expanding journey so far, go ahead and hit that like button to help more curious minds discover these mysteries. And remember, just like these ancient builders, you're capable of far more than you might think. Now, let's dive underground for our next impossible city. Our third city keeps us in the same area known as modern-day Turkey. Imagine discovering that beneath your feet lies an entire underground city with room for 20,000 people, complete with ventilation systems, water wells, wine and oil presses, stables, cellars, storage rooms, religious schools, and chapels, and it extends 18 stories beneath the earth. In 1963, a Turkish man in the Cappadocia region was renovating his home. When he knocked down a wall in his basement, he definitely wasn't expecting to find another room or anything else beyond it. But what he discovered wasn't just a single hidden chamber, it was an entrance to Derinkuyu, the deepest underground city ever found. Extending 85 meters, or 280 feet, below ground, this massive subterranean city spans 18 levels and dates back to at least the 8th century BCE. But here's what confounds historians. Number 1, the engineering knowledge required to create a habitable underground city of this scale shouldn't have existed in ancient Cappadocia. Number 2, the massive 1,000-pound stone doors that could be closed from the inside to seal off each level show sophisticated defensive planning beyond what was thought possible for that era. Number 3, the ventilation system, consisting of more than 15,000 air shafts, maintains air quality at depths where modern engineering would struggle without electrical systems. And number 4, the city includes areas for every aspect of daily life: schools, livestock stables, churches, food storage, wineries, and even what appears to be a religious school. The most interesting thing to me is the ventilation system. At such depths, providing fresh air to thousands of people would be a complex engineering challenge even today. Yet, these ancient builders created a passive system that circulated fresh air throughout all 18 levels without any mechanical assistance. Interestingly enough, Derinkuyu isn't alone. At least 200 underground cities have been discovered in the region, with more being found regularly. Many of these ancient cities are connected by underground tunnels that stretch for kilometers. So why did they build this underground city on such a massive scale? While some historians suggest these cities were used as temporary shelters during invasions, the scale, complexity, and evidence of long-term habitation suggest that they may have served as permanent settlements, a possibility that challenges our entire understanding of ancient urban planning. Dr. Rosalind Ellis, an archaeological engineer who has studied Derinkuyu extensively, notes, "The precision and complexity of these underground structures contradicts our understanding of ancient engineering capabilities in this region. The ventilation system alone would challenge modern engineers if limited to ancient tools. It's as if we found evidence of modern plumbing in ancient Rome. It simply shouldn't exist according to our historical timeline." Unfortunately, some areas of Derinkuyu remain unexplored due to collapsed tunnels and safety concerns. Who knows what other impossible engineering achievements might be waiting to be discovered in its depths. Our fourth city takes us deep into Colombia's Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta Mountains, hidden by dense jungle for centuries. Here lies Ciudad Perdida, literally the lost city. Built by the Tairona civilization around 800 CE, this makes it over 650 years older than the more famous Machu Picchu. But here's the lost city part. This massive settlement wasn't rediscovered until 1972, when local treasure hunters stumbled upon a series of stone steps rising up the mountainside. Named Teyuna by its original inhabitants, this city thrived for nearly 700 years before being abandoned during the Spanish conquest. There are 5 main things that historians find inexplicable about Ciudad Perdida. Number 1, the city contains at least 169 terraces carved into the mountains across an area of 30 hectares, an extensive network of tilled roads covering over 25 kilometers, and numerous circular plazas, all built into steep mountainsides that modern construction would consider challenging. Number 2, engineers have determined the drainage and water management systems are so advanced they still function perfectly after more than 1,200 years of jungle growth, earthquakes, and torrential rainfall. Number 3, the city thrived in an area where conventional archaeological wisdom said that no large settlement could survive due to the steep terrain and isolation. Number 4, it was built without the use of wheels, iron tools, or even a written language, yet shows precise astronomical alignments and sophisticated urban planning. And number 5, the foundation stones are cut with such precision that even after centuries of earthquakes and erosion, you still can't fit a credit card between many of them. The city could support a population of up to 8,000 people in an environment where modern engineers would struggle to build a settlement of similar size, even with today's technology. The Tairona somehow overcame challenges of transportation, construction, and food production that, according to conventional history, should have made such a city impossible. But here's something interesting. Ciudad Perdida appears to be just one of many lost cities in the region. Archaeologists now believe that there may be dozens of similar settlements still hidden in the dense jungle. Recent LiDAR scanning has revealed tantalizing evidence of other massive structures waiting to be discovered. Dr. Santiago Giraldo, who has led conservation efforts at the site, explains, "The Tairona managed to create perfectly adapted, self-sustainable urban centers in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. Their understanding of water management and terrain utilization was centuries ahead of their contemporaries elsewhere in the world. We're still learning from their techniques today in modern sustainable architecture." Something else fascinating is how the city was designed to work in harmony with its environment rather than conquering it, a sophistication we're only now beginning to appreciate in modern green architecture. But the question remains, how did the Tirona develop such advanced engineering without any of the technological advantages we assume are necessary? And how many more impossible cities might still be hiding in plain sight, waiting to challenge our understanding of history? At this point, some of you are still wondering, these are fascinating stories, but how does this affect me? Well, these lost cities aren't just interesting historical footnotes, but they're challenging us to reconsider what humans can achieve with limited resources and ingenuity. Engineers today are actually studying these impossible cities to develop new sustainable technologies. The water management systems of Ciudad Perdida are inspiring modern drought-resistant agricultural techniques. The passive ventilation systems of Derinkuyu are influencing energy-efficient building design. And the astronomical alignments of Göbekli Tepe are helping us understand how ancient peoples tracked time and seasons without modern technology. Plus, to me, there's something profoundly humbling and inspiring about realizing our ancestors were far more innovative than we've given them credit for. Now let's look at perhaps the most enigmatic ancient city of all. Here lies what might be the most inexplicable ancient city on Earth, Madol, often called the Venice of the Pacific, and the only ancient city built on top of a coral reef. Constructed between 1200 and 1500 CE on the island of Pompeii in Micronesia, Madol consists of 92 artificial islands built from an estimated 750,000 tons of prismatic basalt. These human-made islands are separated by narrow channels filled with water, creating a city that appears to float on the ocean. So let's break down what really gets engineers and historians going about this site. Number 1, the basalt columns used in construction weigh up to 50 tons each, about the weight of 4 school buses. Number 2, the nearest basalt quarry is on the opposite side of the island, with no clear path for transportation, requiring these massive stones to be moved over 10 kilometers through dense jungle and steep terrain. Number 3, the local population had no wheels, metal tools, draft animals, or even ropes made from material strong enough to move these massive stones. Number 4, the total weight of transported stone is estimated to equal 900 fully loaded Boeing 747 airplanes, making it one of the most massive building projects in the ancient world. And number 5, the structures were built in an open ocean on top of a coral reef, something that would challenge modern engineering teams even with today's technology. What really baffles archaeologists is that they estimate that the Sandalur population that built Madol never exceeded 1,000 people, nowhere near enough to move these massive stones using conventional methods. For comparison, it would be like asking the population of a small town to build a modern skyscraper by hand. Local Pompeian traditions speak of the city being built by twin sorcerers Olisipa and Olosopa, who used magic to fly the massive basalt logs through the air. While archaeologists still don't accept this explanation literally, they currently have no satisfactory scientific explanation for how the construction was accomplished. The construction is so precise that many walls have stood intact for over 800 years despite being built in an area frequently hit by typhoons and tsunamis. Engineers note that the interlocking design creates structures that actually get stronger, not weaker, when exposed to water, a principle we've only recently begun to incorporate in modern seawall designs. Recent underwater archaeological surveys have revealed something else that's also perplexing. Much of the city appears to have been built during a relatively short time span of 100 to 300 years. This throws conventional archaeological wisdom about how long such massive projects should take into complete disarray. Dr. Catherine Cycle, who conducted extensive archaeological surveys at Madol, notes, even with modern equipment, reconstructing Madol would be a significant engineering challenge. How a small population achieved this with Stone Age technology remains one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries. We literally cannot explain how they did it, given what we know about the tools and resources available to them. This site is so archaeologically significant that UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site in 2016, despite its remote location and difficult access. They cited its globally significant testimony to island colonization and a monumental architecture that demonstrates mastery of construction in a marine environment. Madol remains one of the most compelling archaeological enigmas on Earth. A city that, according to everything we know about ancient engineering capabilities, simply shouldn't exist. Yet, there it stands, a testament to human achievement that defies explanation. What links these 5 extraordinary lost cities isn't just that they shouldn't exist according to conventional history, it's that they all reveal blind spots in our understanding of human capabilities and force us to reconsider what we think we know about our ancestors. Heracleion shows us that ancient Egyptian engineering extended far beyond what we previously believed possible, creating a thriving maritime metropolis in conditions thought unsuitable for such development. Its sudden disappearance reminds us how quickly even the greatest human achievements can be lost to time. Göbekli Tepe forces us to reconsider the entire timeline of human civilization and what drove early humans to create settlements. If religion came before agriculture, as this site suggests, we may need to rewrite our understanding of what actually motivated humans to build the first cities. Derinkuyu demonstrates that ancient peoples could execute complex, multi-generational engineering projects with precision that still impresses today. The ventilation systems alone reveal an understanding of physics and engineering that shouldn't have existed in that time and place. Ciudad Perdida proves that advanced urban planning and environmental adaptation doesn't require modern technology or even a written language. The Tirona's harmony with their challenging environment offers lessons we're only now beginning to reincorporate into our own architecture. And Madol stands as perhaps the greatest testament to human determination, showing how a small population accomplished what seems physically impossible, even by today's standards. The transportation and placement of those massive basalt logs remains one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries. Altogether, these sites tell us something profound. Throughout history, humans have consistently achieved what the experts of their time, and even our time, deemed impossible. They remind us that established historical narratives should always remain open to revision as we continue to make new discoveries. These lost cities are windows into human potential and human history. They show us that our ancestors were far more innovative, organized, and capable than we've given them credit for. And they raise a tantalizing question. What other impossible achievements might still be waiting to be discovered, hidden beneath jungle canopies, desert sands, or ocean waves? Perhaps most importantly, these lost cities challenge us to reconsider our own limitations. If ancient peoples could achieve the seemingly impossible with primitive tools, imagine what we might accomplish if we stop underestimating our own capabilities. Well, that about does it. 5 lost cities that, according to everything we thought we knew about history, simply shouldn't exist. Yet, they do, and they're changing how we understand our past and perhaps even our future. If you enjoyed this journey today on Arnie's Brain Train, do your fellow curious minds a favor and smash that like button. It helps more people discover these mind-expanding mysteries. And make sure to hit that subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next adventure through history's greatest puzzles. All of my sources are linked in the description below for anyone that wants to explore further. I pride myself on thorough research, so you can trust that everything I've shared today is backed by archaeological evidence. So, do you think that there are other lost cities still waiting to be discovered? And which of today's cities do you think might become tomorrow's archaeological mysteries? Let me know in the comments below. This is Alex Arnold, reminding you that the world isn't always this simple, but it's always this interesting. Until next time, keep your brain and your curiosity on track. See you guys there. Bye.